no trouble speaking in public, and I'll tell you why. Because when you're always the shortest person in the room, everybody's staring at you anyway, so I just have no problem with this. For those of you who don't know me, I actually work with people and I teach them the secrets to being happy. So I was going to share with some of you today some of the secrets that I actually talk with people about pretty much on a daily basis. And basically, to me, it was always very shocking that we're oftentimes not ever asked what really makes us happy, which is very odd to me because it didn't occur to me until I actually started asking the question of other people that nobody ever really asks us sometimes, what makes you happy? What are the things in your life that you need to make you happy? And the other thing that we never do is we don't really ever talk about the things that make us happy with other people. And there are secrets to being happy that we don't share with one another. And so I have about 5 or 6 of these secrets that I'm going to share with you today. And I have a couple of stories that go with them, personal stories, but I'll try to keep them brief to the 5 minutes because we're at 5 minutes. The first thing that I think hit me that I don't think a lot of people understand is that positive in is positive out. I have several different careers that I've been in. One of the careers that I've been in is a data person. And one of the things that they say in the data world, computer world, is garbage in, garbage out. It's the same thing with positive and negative things that you bring into your life and that you allow into your brain, your mind, and into your world, essentially. And one of the things that I started learning when I really delved into trying to figure out the secrets to being happy, you know, even when things are going on around you that are really crazy, the things that really make you happy, one of the things I noticed is that if I allowed the negativity and the bad things into my life and into my mind space, that's what wound up coming out. And it didn't just come out of me just in my little area. It came out on the people around me. It came out in my work environment. It came out everywhere. And it really spilled over. And the thing that bothered me the most is that it spilled over onto the people that I loved. And I didn't want that to happen. So I began to look at myself and say, you know what? Positive in, positive out. So I began to look at positive affirmations that I could do on a daily basis. You know, things that I could bring into my life. I stopped watching the news. I stopped reading the newspaper because everything was always bad, and it had never occurred to me how horrible it was, you know. There were things that I enjoyed. I love horror movies, but do you know how bad horror movies are? But I really do. I love horror movies. I grew up watching horror movies. I grew up reading Stephen King and Anne Rice because, you know, that's what we did. When I began to think about it, I was like, wow, you know, that's really probably not the most positive thing I could be reading, you know. So I just said, well, you know what? I'm going to start putting positive in. So all I started doing, all I do all day long is read positive things on Twitter. I read positive affirmations on Facebook. I read positive stuff all day long. When I go home, I read positive things about building my business, positive things that I put into my life because I want to be able to take those positive things and give them to other people. So, golden nugget number 1, positive in, positive out. The next thing that I learned from Wayne Dyer, which I actually posted on my Facebook page today. Oh, no, I didn't. I take that back. It was not on my Facebook page. I actually wrote a Monday morning motivation. I have Monday morning motivations that I send out to people that are on my list. And he basically paraphrased says, divorce yourself of the good opinion of other people. People that are truly happy will look at you and they will take in what you say, but they also take it with a grain of salt because if you really truly know who you are and stand in your own self and stand in your own selfhood, you can divorce yourself of what other people think of you because really and truly it's none of your business what other people think of you. It's not. Because what they think really doesn't matter. Now, you can take their opinion to heart if you choose to do so, but you can choose, if it's not something that you believe about yourself, you can choose not to take it in, because it truly is your choice. Which leads me to the next thing that I don't think a lot of people truly understand, is that happiness truly is a choice. You choose it every day. You choose it when you get out of bed. You choose it when you say hello to the security guard in your office. You choose it when you back off from your boss and you know your boss is in a bad mood rather than yelling at him or whatever. You choose it every single day in everything you do. So in every moment of my life, I try to choose happiness or the most positive thing to do in that situation. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I get grumpy and I really don't want to be around people. And I say at that moment, I'm like, Pollyanna has left the building. I'm done. I'm just going to kind of step back for a minute. But I always get back and I hit the mental reset button. I say, you know what? I have a choice right now. In this moment, I have a choice, and I can be grumpy and yell at somebody. I can be mad because the guy flipped me off because I got too close to him on the freeway or whatever, but I don't know what's going on with him. So right now, I have the choice that I don't have to do that. I can be happy. I can be positive. And not a lot of people truly understand that it is a choice because they believe that whatever's going on outside of them can determine how they feel. And that's not true. You have complete control over your emotions. You have control over your thoughts. You have to choose to use that. The next thing that comes to mind leading into that is that you really can only change yourself. You cannot change your spouse. You cannot change your boss. You cannot change the jerk driving down the freeway that just cut you off. You cannot change anything else except for yourself. You can only change what you have control over. And as Shannon told us, we only have control over what's right here, right now. So I may get a phone call, somebody's yelling at me, they're not happy, whatever, didn't pay a bill, whatever it is. I choose how to respond, and I get to choose how to change. And the only person that I can change is me. So I can change how I respond to that person, and I can change how I feel about a situation if I stop myself and become aware of what I'm doing. The last thing, which really is one of the most profound things that I really ever learned in my life, and I believe, I'm not really quite sure where this came from, but I believe it came from the Course in Miracles. And if any of you are here who've ever read anything from the Course in Miracles, it is a book on spirituality. And I know Steve, we've talked about it a lot in our Charleston Metaphysical group. But one of the things that I learned from A Course in Miracles is having no attachment to outcome. And how many people in here, just show of hands, have ever heard anybody say to you, have no attachment to an outcome? Has anybody ever heard that? Yeah. That was one of the absolutely most profound things that anybody ever said to me. And the reason why is because I realized that so many times the reason that I went to a negative space, the reason I got upset, the reason I got angry, wasn't because it was truly a horrible situation. It was because I was attached to how I wanted that situation I want the result that I wanted in that situation, the outcome I wanted in that situation, whether it was a relationship with somebody who didn't want to be in a relationship with me or didn't see it the same way. It never was really about that other person or really about the situation. It was about the attachment that I put on the result of that situation. So once I figured out that, oh, I don't have to do that anymore, that was actually really one of the more profound changes that actually happened for me. And it's something that I started out with in a work environment, having one of those, and I've worked in a very interesting environment where one day you'd be working on a project and the next day that entire project would be gone and you're working on something different. So I had to learn very quickly not to be attached to what I was doing, even if I felt very passionate about it, because tomorrow it might not be the direction we're going in. So those are my little 5 or 6 little golden nuggets, but if you don't take anything away from this, the one thing I want you to take away from this is that happiness truly is a choice, and you can choose it at any moment and any time, but you have to make the conscious choice.